are around the world. Today, welcome to the Rat Network, a podcast hosted by Stuart Brisgell and David Solomon. I'm David, he's Stuart, in case you've never heard us before. Welcome to our podcast where we bring you unfiltered and uncensored conversations on a wide range of topics, live, unedited, uncensored, unfiltered is how we love to drive this one. This is the platform where we express our opinions and share our thoughts, experiences, and ideas and hear from a variety of perspectives and honest opinions. Join us as we dive in today, especially into the latest news, pop culture, politics, so much more. We deal with absurdity, but we also deal with reality, deeper issues that are affecting our society. We've got you covered, so sit back and relax on this journey of exploration and discovery. So, speaking of journey, one of the things that if you ever look back into world history, the gold was the currency. And in the 20th century, if I'm not mistaken, the United States dollar became the currency. And the whole world based its valuation on the strength of the US dollar. Now, look, US, was the powerhouse, superpower globally, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, every country kind of wanted to flex its own muscle. But even Russia didn't try because they knew that their currency was worthless. But recently, the Yuan, the Chinese currency, actually surpassed the United States dollar as the most traded currency. The premier of China decided, hey, you know what? Here's something I want to try and rattle my sabers with. What if I got countries to get off the US dollar and get on the Chinese yuan? Real, Stuart, or just another political jab at the United States?
Okay, so let me jump in. As many of you know, I'm a financial advisor. I'm not giving investment advice on BRICS, but BRICS are a multitude of things. It's BRICS, not KS. Now, again, so you don't through BRICS through glass windows. BRICS is also a term used for an investment strategy that came out, I guess, the late 2015s, 2012s, where you invested in BRICS, which was Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's where all of this term began. And let me tell you the commonality between Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and South Africa. They're very much leaning towards non-democratic societies. I hate to believe it. India is leaning towards a non-democratic society as its partnership further and further deepens with Russia and China, because the people that run the country like the way China's control and Russia's control over the people. I'm sorry. Oh yes, no, sorry, David. I'm giving my thing. You shut up.
You can give your unfiltered, uncensored opinion.
The purpose of this destabilization of the U.S. currency is a dream from any anarchist in the world, and there's lots. People from like Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, because they're stuck living because their currency and inflation and interest is crazy and over the top. There, in the bottom corner, David. All right. So if you understand that there's a lot of political meandering, there's a lot of financial meandering, and these banana republics like South Africa, need to try and control the people, and they would rather keep the money for themselves and not give the money to the people. Kind of sounds like apartheid on steroids, except it's black controlled, not white British controlled. So let's continue a little flash forward. Question to all our listeners here, would you want your money entrusted to Russia or China? That's the first question. Would you like to have your digital currency controlled by a communist government? Just to put it out there. So the concept of trying to destabilize the U.S. currency is a dream of Vladimir Putin. Well, dream. The guy has wet dreams about it. Hires 400 hookers and has sex with them to have the destabilization of the U.S. dollar. China would also love to see the United States fall. Its promotion and understanding of how to attack the U.S. Population is something it does every day. In fact, it has big enough balls, it put a fucking police station in New York City. That's one we found out about. I don't know if you know about that. So BRICS is a concept on how to try and destabilize the American currency. Now, me, as an individual who does investing for a living, sees the world. In other words, all those people trying to get money out of China, out of Russia, out of India, out of South Africa, are dying to get into the U.S. economy. You know what, David? Not that the Canadian economy is excluded from that, but after their latest trucker, I'm going to hold all your money type legislation with the War Act, people are less likely running to Canada, but more likely running to Australia, right, as alternative currencies to buy into. So the question is this just banter to rattle, as you said, saber tossing? Or is it just really just one big dick about to get swatted by the world with the stupidest, dumbest idea? Or is it going to take the concept that people are going to have to lose all their money? I don't know, David. I rattled for about 6 minutes. I can keep going.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Stuart. I'll give you a couple of things. First of all, the U.S. dollar, God bless, it's a free market currency. Let's be realistic. And when you're talking about a free market currency, the last thing anybody wants right now is that rigidity of the communist control. There are a lot of games being played here. Okay, China's playing a serious game of trying to say, hey, listen, you know what? You said it. If I can get Russia and if I can get other other bigger powers to jump on the Yuan bandwagon, then we're great. But the problem is that it's not that simple. And
Nope.
Speaker McCarthy spoke about it. Kevin McCarthy spoke about it. He goes, it's a lot of political bluster. It's not real. You can't just flip a switch and say, you know what, today I'm on the US dollar, tomorrow I'm on the Yuan. There are a lot of factors into it. If there was going to be a switch, it would make more sense to go to the euro, the yen, the pound sterling, or the Swiss franc. The Yuan, albeit with its power and whatever, there's a lot, it's too volatile to go down that path. Now, what China's doing is simple. It's poking at the bear, Stuart. It's poking at a bear. Okay, there's clear, fear. There's a clear, not fear, but it's a clear, it's clear that the United States is very weak, and what the Chinese government is trying to do. No, not weak economically, weak politically. And it's trying to take advantage of instability, infighting. Look, when you're telling me that it's much, much more important to focus on putting in transgender athletes into sports than it is to defend against China. I mean, let's think about what China's done recently. Sent up a spy balloon, all right, that went over Canada, the United States. It was a test, right? China has gone into, every time they talk about Taiwan, all of a sudden they're military exercises. China is poking at the Biden bear. And this is just one more example of why this is. I mean, listen, people are afraid, but apparently, I don't think people totally understand what's involved in your story.
David, okay. So Russia and China would like to change the ability for the U.S. government to hold all of its assets hostage. Mm-hmm. The euro can hold their assets hostage. And the sales pitch that the BRICS are trying to give these countries is that U.S. and Germany, as the point leader for the euro or the British pound or the Swiss dollar, they all don't want to have their currency. So if you're a banana republic, you're a fascist state, you're a communist country, and you want to do duplicit things, BRIC makes total sense because the U.S. and the West or the NATO alliance or the world at large that's part of the Western side of the line would see a benefit of not being in that Western currency. Right. Because they want an Eastern currency so they can trade amongst themselves and not risk losing their money. But again, what people fail to understand, including the Saudis, is that they want to be able to get their money and know that it's valued in every part of the world. The U.S. dollar will always be able to convert.
Not only valued, but holds its value anywhere around the world. And I know, and listen, when you look at this, multi-headed monster that's talking about it. You said it, the names, right? Russia, China,
Right, but
South.
but digital coins are also trying to advertise this, where people are going to go, well, I don't want bricks, dollars in trouble. I'm going to go to
No,
Bitcoin,
no, well, but hold
which
on.
is why you heard about them. No, but this is all part of this twist.
You know
And
what?
do you know what, David? David, let me finish. The next thing that's most important. This plays right into Fed Now, digital currency. Now, you probably haven't heard of Fed Now, David, have you?
I actually have, but thanks for once again thinking I've not heard of it. But listen, Stuart. But the point of the matter here is the following. Okay, digital currency is supposedly an apolitical path, supposedly, right? There's no government. There's no. We ranted about
Sure.
we ranted about Bitcoin. Okay, but the reality is that today, that you know, if you were to go today and to try to buy real estate around the world, and you showed up with Bitcoin, US dollars, and Yuan, which currency is not likely to be taken globally? It's the Yuan. Not because it's a crappy currency. It's because people have more faith in the US dollar stability. Bitcoin has its own value, and call it what it will, but the yuan is just not there. I mean, it's not your top five currency. And anybody who has any financial sense understands that, you know, if there was a coup in China, yuan's worthless. Okay? That's the problem. But this thing, what's going on right now, again, this is what I was trying to get at. If you look at the multi-headed monsters that are trying to rally around destabilizing the US dollar, Saudi doesn't want to destabilize the US dollar. Let me tell you something. There's too much money. The Saudis have too much invested with the United States, with oil and with other things. The Saudis are poking back at it's a revenge. It's revenge against Biden and his crap, and Obama too, by the way. Okay, you look at the leaders that are there. Take a look at what's going on since Obama. Obama and Biden have alienated their allies, right? We've seen it with different countries. They're looking for new partners. It was not a fluke that from 2008 on, countries like Saudi Arabia, Israel got closer together with Russia and with China and with India because of being alienated by the United States. This is just one more factor. And so to hear that this is what's happening now with the currency, it's not going to happen. It's too phantasmal for it to happen. But this is part of the weakness of the Biden administration. We've had 10 out of the last 14 years has been pure weakness. Trump was volatile. I wouldn't call it strong, but he was volatile where it scared the crap out of countries. But 10 of the last 14 years, they're taking advantage of it.
David, on that note, I think it's time you're going to wrap this stuff up.
Well, yeah, let's wrap it up, folks, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all very much for joining us for today's episode. You can see we're keeping our rants really under the 15-minute mark, so grab every time you can, download it, listen to us. We'd love for you to do it. How do you find us? We're all over the place. We're on all the podcasts. We're all over social media. So if you can't listen to us live this Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, no problem. Go to our website, click on the links on YouTube, Rumble, all the famous places. Our new website will be launching very soon. Follow us on social media, click likes, share us. We love that. Folks, thanks again for listening. And until next time,